Given the upcoming release of Halo Campaign Evolved, as a lifelong Halo fan, I wanted to make a video of before and after impressions of what I expect and what ended up actually coming out. Because there's a lot that the community is not happy with, but the game looks great. And even though I would have rather had a different Halo and a different entry, something different, more Halo is always good. A new Halo game is a new Halo game, new experience, especially one that's as old as this one, and this one isn't actually being remastered only. The last one was basically a retexture, and this one is an actual remake. However, the first thing and the most obvious is the visuals. Some are amazing. I think Master Chief, the Warthog, the Pelicans, the cutscenes, this thing looks amazing. However, some creative decisions were made here that I absolutely do not agree with. And can this be considered nitpicking? Yes, but I believe it is justified. Like, the most egregious one, I believe, would be the ring. The Halo ring does not look good. There were, and I'll put it on screen, there were AI generated versions of what clearly the ring should have looked like for the menu, and what they came up with is clearly not it. It has tons of things that mess up the scale. There was a clear vision in the original that, also given the lack of technology and fidelity that Bungie had in 2001, that they couldn't bring over. However, they used this technique where they have a ton of little lights on the ring that just gave it a sense of huge scale. Like, those lights might actually be enormous, just massive windows with lights inside the room that goes inside the ring. But those super huge windows, like observation decks or maintenance ports or actual huge lights, they actually look super tiny when the ring is looked at from the outside. That gave it a huge sense of scale, and it looks amazing. Whereas the new one it just looks like something you would wear, honestly. It looks like one of those they keep getting ads for, wear the Halo ring around your finger. It genuinely looks like that because everything, all the features that you would usually expect to see in a smaller structure, it's the same feature, just made bigger. Like, I don't know how else to call it, but that thing it looks like a pimple, the things that are on the ring. And they don't seem to serve any purpose. Like, it's not like it's so small that it might actually serve a purpose when you zoom into it. But I can perfectly see the feature in full resolution now that is huge, and I can clearly see that it serves basically no purpose. Moving on to another thing, for example, something that I keep seeing in Halo games and Bungie games too is actually hilarious given the direction that these companies went in, is they don't know anything about guns, and you can tell. For example, the obsession with I would say the Needler, the ammo counter, it's actually hilarious, the things that the community made, just poking fun at it, that the only gun that you can actually physically see the ammo on top of it, it has an ammo counter. No. And some people are saying it's just realistic that aliens would have it. Absolutely not. We have the technology right now to add ammo counters. Hell, a YouTuber himself made a realistic assault rifle with the ammo counter. We have the technology. It's just stupid. It's not needed. And things like that. And also the ammo carrier thingy, that is clear. The original Bungie one was clearly based off of real ammo carriers. An ammo pouch. I mean, that's what it was. It was efficient. That's how we designed it in real life, and it's efficient. Is it nitpicking all this? Yes, I know perfectly well that this is nitpicking, but the whole purpose of Halo Campaign Evolved is to bring the visuals to the next level, to current engines, and why mess up something that wasn't broken? I agree there are things like the Forerunner structures that is really hard to get right because it cannot exist in high resolution. For Honor textures that are a mixture of concrete, metal, rock. They looked amazing and mysterious to us the first time we looked at this game in 2001, because our imagination was filling in a lot of those gaps. Like that black texture in the side with the chrome. Right now they made it, in this version they made it bronze. And it makes sense that it's bronze because that's how it looks in the old version. But the old version didn't look like bronze because it didn't have the fidelity. It was our brain filling in like what maybe it looks like a different type of bronze, rock and metal, concrete, some fancy alloy combined. Right now we can actually give it the texture and, well, it just looks like metal. Metal or rock. Could they have come up with something different? Maybe. Maybe it would have looked plasticky. That is, I believe, is the hardest thing to achieve. Even with the guns, honestly, the Magnum being chrome, like a fancy Desert Eagle, it looks good in old graphics and it is the art style of the original one. But in the new one, not really. I wouldn't want to see a Halo C Magnum chrome and shiny, because realistically it wouldn't look that way. It looks well in low poly. It's like the renders that you see sometimes of CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas brought to high resolution. It doesn't look great because we're used to seeing the old version, and that's how it should be. The textures are really hard to get right, especially for For Honor structures. That's my point. But apart from that, yeah, the ring, the ammo counters, not necessary. I disagree with those. However, the flood, I'm really glad they went with Halo 3's version, because I would have preferred, I believe, a more greener version for the flood, because in Halo CE, the flood looks more like a very pale skin with green undertones underneath that almost glows in the dark. That, especially with a dark background, it looked terrifying to just see, green glowing blobs coming right at you and chasing you down. Especially the carrier forms. I don't know how they're going. I mean, I know because I've seen footage. I know how they handle that, and I just hope the library, especially, I hope they make that level right. And hopefully I'll come back and make the next part of this video happy about how they handled what is possibly the worst level in all of Halo history, not counting 343 Industry games. And however, something that does get me, obviously, I tweeted about this and everything, is not theater mode. It fucking sucks. Honestly, it is terrible that we don't have theater mode, the things we would be able to capture. Theater mode is huge for the community, and the fact that we don't have it is terrible, especially because the game has no social features. Given that Halo grew so much because of how much you played with friends and all the interactions with friends, having not even theater mode to share your experiences with the community is absolutely terrible. Something, however, I do want to point out that I'm sad they didn't change, even though it's staying true to the original one. But something like the Marines dying when you land on the Halo ring after the first mission. We know that those Marines had to be killed in the version that Bungie made because the Marines kept dying while trying to cross the bridge. And I have a theory that the reason they left the Marines dead is because the same thing kept happening. Because I've seen footage of the AI of the Covenant AI, and it looks awful. The AI for the Covenant looks worse than Halo CE's, and even worse than Halo Reach's, which is, I think, all the code for the game, they brought it over from Halo Reach. And the AI looked terrible. And I know they changed it, they supposedly upgraded it. However, I don't know if that's going to be enough. It was almost like a dance, if I'm gonna put it in a certain way. It's like the elites, they genuinely felt like they were not only experienced in handling weapons, they were nimble warriors, and they would genuinely dodge your attacks. They would see you throw a grenade and they knew they would move out of the way. All that was genuinely amazing back then, and I don't think they brought that over, which is a shame. But if the AI is genuinely worse, then I can totally see the Marines having the same problem. And oh well, I hope at least it's not, the AI is not terrible. Sprint, I'm not even gonna get into that one. I personally, I don't think it's necessary. I don't care that much that it's there because I can just not press the button. But I know they keep it in there because they think that, they know the state of the world. They know that people's attention span is very short, and if the game moves really, really slow, then TikTok fried brains are not going to stick around to play the entire game, and they're going to give it a bad review. And I can totally see that happening. So yeah, it's there. Just don't use it if you don't want it, I guess. But the biggest thing that I am so sad, and I already mentioned it, but this game, I can guarantee you that the hype for the game releasing will have had lasted longer than the actual lifespan of the game, because it has no multiplayer. If you look back at what made 2007 great with Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2 and Gears of War, was especially the post-game lobbies and engaging with the community in multiplayer. Being able to meet people and keep playing with those same people as you progress into other matches. This is just not there at all. This is, for all intents and purposes, it is like releasing only the campaign for Call of Duty. And a lot of people are just not interested. Matter of fact, I remember when I first played Halo, I played the campaign a lot with my cousins and whatnot, but I would spend most of my time during the week playing only multiplayer by myself and meeting someone online and playing with them for a couple matches. If I get along with them, I would add them. If not, I would just continue, never speak to them again. But where the majority of people spend a lot of their time, and the reason why they spend money on the game in the first place, is for the multiplayer. And a Halo without social features is a Halo that's going to die really fast, as we saw with Infinite, Halo 5, Halo 4, and literally everything in that 343 Industries / Halo Studios has come up with. But anyways, I think that's all I wanted to say. And this is all my pre-release complaints, pros, cons, and hopefully it only gets better from here. I'll make another video after Halo CE campaign, Halo Campaign Evolved releases, and hopefully it is what we needed right now for Halo, even though it's not the best. As I said, I would have rather had a new Halo game, but if this is what we got, let's hope it's good. Until next time.